here. I am taking a down day from training, just hanging out by Lake Chattooga, really enjoying the views and relaxing. But I thought it would be a great chance to show you the gear that I'm going to take on the Colorado Trail. Now, this is very much like the gear that I packed for the PCT earlier this year, which unfortunately didn't work out as being the through hike for me this year, so hopefully I'll get there next year. But because it's very much the same, I'm not going to do a real long drawn out gear list video. If you want to see all the details behind why I chose what I chose and all of that, then you could take a look at that video, which I'm going to link up there. And if you have any questions, feel free to just pop them in the comments. I'd be happy to hear from you. But let's go ahead and take a look at what I'm packing for my Colorado Trail through hike attempt this summer. For my sleep system, I am sticking with my Underground Quilts quilt. It's a 20-degree quilt, but custom, so I added an extra ounce of down in the body and the foot box. So I think it's probably about 17, and that should be good for the cold nights in Colorado. If it's hot, it's really easy to just kind of throw my legs out or lay on top of it, whatever, to make it more comfortable. And then along with that, I do carry a dry bag. This is from Mountain Laurel Designs. It's just a Dyneema dry bag. And the straps are in here as well to hold the quilt down to the pad. For the sleeping pad, I am bringing my Thermarest X-Therm. I first used it on the PCT and it kept me really comfortable. It's got, I believe, like a 6.9 R value. I'll pop that in my video just to confirm. But yeah, it's super warm, so if the ground is cold, this will really help. And it seemed to solve problems I've had in the past of sleeping cold. So I am going to bring this. I am bringing my little down-sided pillow, which I really, really like. It's super comfortable. This is from Sea to Summit. And then I made a little pillowcase. One addition I made since the PCT was a couple little Velcro squares just to keep the pillowcase from sliding off the pillow, which was a problem that would wake me up sometimes at night. And then finally, I have my Rab silk liner, which was new for the PCT. It's a little bit smaller than the one that I've been using in the past, slightly narrower, so it fits the narrower pad, and it's really comfortable. I am going to bring an Ursack this trip. I've had this one for a while, but never really used it, so I'm going to test it on an upcoming training backpacking trip in a couple of weeks. And then I do use the liners that go inside it. These are the OpSac. In the past, when I used these on the AT, these seals did break after about 3 weeks of continuous use. So I've got 2 of these, and I may just have one sent to myself mid-hike, knowing that this one, which has been used a little bit, may not have as much life in it as the brand new one. So anyway, those will go inside the Ursack and keep the bears out. I've got my pot and my stove is in here. Still using the same little MSR Pocket Rocket that I love, Pocket Rocket 2. I've got some waterproof matches. I just carry these for safety. And then, of course, a lighter and a bandana. All that fits nicely in here. I will be carrying fuel, although I can't fly with it. And I typically will bring just a little bit of plastic grocery bag just to reuse it. I use that for my trash, especially if it's going to be going into the OpSac so it won't smell. I enjoyed using the Be Free filter on the PCT, so I'm going to stick with this. And somebody on that trail gave me this little bottle. I did not buy this when I got it. I just bought the filter alone, which you can do, or you can buy a kit. But this has come in pretty handy. It's a little bit easier to use just in terms of the bag flopping around versus the Canuck bag. I may bring that if there are going to be some longer water carries, but it sounds like water's pretty plentiful, so I will double check that before go. And if I don't have any real long water carries, then I'll probably just go with this system and filter these into my 2 Life water bottles that I like. I've got my beloved Toaks titanium spoon with a polished bowl, and then I've also carried my little poop kit, which is a titanium trowel, a little bit of TP, and some baggies if I need to actually pack out any waste. In my little tent bag, which is what I call this Eagle Creek bag, I've had it quite a long time now. It's lasted very well. I carry the things that I just basically throw in my tent as soon as I set things up. So this is actually, if I bring it, I'm debating, but if I bring it, it'll be on my pack. Inside my tent pack, I typically carry my electronics, my little wallet. This is my towel. This dries my whole body, but it's also a good washcloth or good for just wiping down my tent in the morning if it's got condensation. I carry some first aid supplies, including a little teeny tiny thing of super glue, some Joyful Rambler stickers. Seemed like a good place to put them. And then sunscreen, anti-chafe, first aid. I like to carry a real lightweight razor, tweezers, and nail clippers, so a comb too, and a little patch kit. So these are things that I just carry with me almost all the time, throw them in that bag, they go right into the tent, so if I need to find anything, it's pretty well organized and it's right there. And then I will have a Garmin inReach. I'm actually going to upgrade the plan so I can drop points. In the past I've just been using the very basic plan, but I'm going to add the next level of service so that people can track my hike. I wear my little Casio watch instead of my smartwatch here. I may change that on this hike. I do carry a little ID badge. So those things are actually going to be on my pack. I may also bring a bug net. I'm debating about that. And then in addition to the first aid right there, some extra aqua tabs for sterilizing water, and a couple of pills of a lot of different things like anti-diarrheal, Benadryl for allergies, melatonin if I can't sleep. And then I carry my toothbrush, which is a little tiny travel toothbrush without the handle. The handle just breaks right off. I also carry earplugs and a small little Gerber knife that's super sharp and super light. And then this is just an emergency blanket, and this can come in handy if somebody gets super wet, has hypothermia, things like that. If your tent gets destroyed, who knows? And then this is just an extra hair tie as well. Sometimes hair ties break, so it seems like a good place to keep it. All right, for clothing and related items, let's start with a couple things I'm not bringing. I had all of these on the PCT. I'm not going to bring a mask because I could get a disposable one if I do need one. My buff, which I really stopped using, and then I did like my Dirty Girl gaiters, but I don't really feel like I need them on this trail, so I'm not going to bring those. I am bringing my Sea to Summit pack as my clothing bag, and then this is great also for trail stops because you can use it as a backpack to throw your groceries in when you run into town. For footwear, I will be wearing my La Sportiva Akasha 2s. These are the new ones that just came out recently. They don't have a lot of color options, but I will suck it up because I really love these shoes. The tread is great. These are a bit dirty from hiking, obviously, but the tread is great. They grip, they don't slip, and so I really have had good luck with these shoes. And then these don't have the insoles in them, but I do use Spenco Total Support insoles. And I picked up a new pair of trekking poles right before the PCT. This is a replacement for my old set of Cascade Mountain Tech. It's the same one, just a different color scheme. They worked really well, but after about 4 years, these little screw plastic things were starting to give way, and I didn't want them to break in the middle of the trail. So I went ahead and sprung about $40 for a new pair, just like the old pair. Love them. It does rain a lot on the Colorado Trail, so I am bringing my rain gear, my Outdoor Research Helium 2 jacket. A little part of me is debating maybe upgrading to my heavier Arc'teryx jacket, but this has served me well in the past and it's not very heavy, so probably end up going with this one, as well as my tried and true Patagonia Alpine Houdini pants, which I don't think they make anymore, but love them. And then I've also got REI rain mitts just to keep my hands warm because I do get cold, and if it's cold rain, I don't want to not be able to feel my fingers. I've got Renault's actually. It's just something that if you have it and you're curious about hiking with it, I do have a video on that. But basically, you get cold and you lose your sensation in your fingers. I also have just a little lightweight hat. This is a hiking hat, not necessarily for rain, but for every day. It's very soft and flexible. So it was cheap. I think I got it at TJ Maxx or something, but it's super light, and I really enjoyed it on the PCT. So I'm bringing that. I am bringing my little Columbia beanie that's got the heat shield stuff on the inside. And I used to sleep in little flip-top mittens, but I'm not going to bring those. I didn't bring them on the PCT, and I didn't miss them. The changes in my sleep system seem to make a big difference. So that saves me just a few ounces. My Mountain Hardwear puffy I've had for a few years. It's showing a little bit of wear. It's got a couple of burn marks and things like that on it, but it still does the job. So I'm going to break this. This Mountain Hardwear Air Mesh fleece, I guess you'd call it, really was new to me on the PCT, and I really liked it. It's super, super lightweight. It's got little fibers on the inside that actually hold air, so it's less weight, but it does the trick to keep you warm. And then I've also got an Outdoor Research Echo Sun hoodie. This one is the older version, and unfortunately it's got these weird cuffs on it instead of thumb holes, so I may take a sewing machine to it at my mom's before I leave and see if I can somehow cut off some of that fabric and make a thumb hole, because that was making me crazy the week that I was hiking on the PCT. But it does also have a good feature, which is a ponytail slot right here on the back of the hoodie, so that's good if you have a ponytail. For sleep clothes, which I think are really important, especially on a trail like the Colorado Trail where you could get wet late in the day, to have some dry, warm clothes is good. These are Ibex wool leggings and a North Face wool shirt that also has thumb holes on it. So these are great thumb holes. It covers actually about half your hand, which helps to keep warm if your hands get cold at night. And then I have had sleep socks. This is actually my second pair of these sleep socks from Farm to Feet. I've been using them for about 4 years and they are perfect. One trick about sleep socks is to make sure that they're not too tight, because you need some airflow around your feet, kind of build up an air cushion to keep your feet warm. So if you're having trouble keeping your feet warm when your socks, try to get a pair that's a little bit looser. For undergarments, this I've had, hate to say I've had a hiking bra for 4 years, but I have. This one works really well. It's from 𝐬𝐞. Pair of panties that are ex officio, and then my 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐵 liner socks I upgraded to wool for the PCT. I think I'm going to go back to the regular ones. I think they're just a little bit more comfortable, and I don't know that I really need the wool on the Colorado Trail. And then I usually wear smart wool socks. I've been testing out different socks. This is a pair of Balegas, but I will most likely go back to my smart wool that are about the same style. It's a low ankle sock. And then also, before I left the PCT, I got sun gloves. You can see I grew up in Florida. I say I've got like 80-year-old hands. I didn't use sunscreen, spent a lot of time sailing and that sort of thing. So I'm trying to protect my hands now for what it's worth. When I'm hiking, I will be wearing a Mountain Hardwear lightweight t-shirt and either my favorite old North Face shorts, and the alternative for colder days is my Columbia hiking leggings. I've been wearing both of these for a long time. I did try to replace the North Face shorts, but the newer version of these doesn't have this little zipper pocket, and they're just not quite as comfortable for some reason. So I'm going to stick with the old ones. I figure I'll wear them out eventually. For my backpack, I'm sticking with my Superior Wilderness Design, Superior 40. I love this pack. It's great. I am going to switch out the system that I use to attach the Light AF fanny pack. I actually was attaching this to the pack, but I found when I had to stop that it would just kind of drop, and then my phone was in the outside pocket and it would kind of drop on the ground, which I didn't really like. So I'm probably going to go back to having 2 straps. I'm going to test those out because I have got everything right here. So I'll probably use the hip belt on the pack and then have the fanny pack freestanding, and we'll see how that works out. My tent for this trip is going to be the Nemo Hornet 2-person. This is a replacement for my old tent. I had some issues, which I made a video about earlier this year. You can take a look at it if you want, but it packs down pretty small. It doesn't look like it right now, but this sack is big enough to hold the poles, but I usually put those in the back of my backpack in the outside pocket. So the tent and the fly actually compresses down to that height right there, about the size of an Nalgene bottle. And then I carry my stakes and my footprint, which is a homemade footprint made out of polycro. I carry that right in here, and so it works well for me. It is the tent that I used on the AT, and I really liked it. Because I was waiting for the replacement when I was on the PCT, I used a Durango 𝐿 1 that a friend lent me, and that was a good tent. I did have some concerns about it. It was a little bit hard to get a good tight pitch in some of the terrain that I was on, and I also felt like the doors didn't open high enough for some reason. I'm not a tall enough person, but it was the first version of the 𝐿, and I've heard they've made some changes since then, so I think it's still a tent worth considering if you can get your hands on one, because they're super popular. In fact, I may end up getting an 𝐿 2 Pro, I think is what they call it, the Dyneema one when it comes out, just because I'd love to try it out. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and stick with my Nemo tent. One final item I forgot to mention is my Gossamer Gear umbrella. I bought this thinking I might use it for the PCT, and I didn't, but there were a few times when it was really just baking hot sun that I wished I had it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it on the Colorado Trail along with the clip to hold it onto my pack strap, and I'm going to give it a go. I've never used it before, but we'll see how it works out.